this all the time. People tell their story of how they got wealthy, and they talk about, man, I would walk past all these big houses, and I'd go and look at this awesome car, and I'd look at all these things I dreamed about. And that's what motivated me to get rich. You go on Instagram, you go on YouTube, you go and watch TV, and you see Keeping Up with the Kardashians. What success looks like is having 15 Lamborghinis, flying private, having this giant house, and having tons of people you don't know thinking you're fucking awesome. That's success, right? Right? Well, it depends what you mean by success. If success means having other people think you're successful, yes, that's definitely what success is. If success means being happy and free, that's anything but the truth. And you need to know about this because I made this same mistake, and it's a sucker mistake. And you're going to end up being a sucker too if you don't watch this video. If you just take 5 seconds to watch this is going to cut about, I would say, for me, about 8 years worth of regrets off my life. If I just seen this when I was 22, I would have made a lot less mistakes. Now, thank God I'm not as stupid as other people, and I was able to get out and kind of realize this mistake well before it came back and hit me like an NBA player. You see this happen all the time. This is why NFL players, NBA players go broke. But the thing that pisses me off most about this is it just wasted a ton of my time. It wasted a ton of my fulfillment, and I ended up going down a path and obtaining things that actually made me a slave. And when you go out there and you look at what success is to people, Lamborghini, giant house, all these things, what I'm going to tell you is your life quality is probably going to start dropping very quickly as soon as you start obtaining all these things. It did so for mine. And what I want to do in this video is make you completely understand this by showing you my mistakes and then show you where you really should be putting your money at, what you should be looking to buy when you build a business. And I also want you to understand that everything you need is a lot easier to obtain than you think. And let me explain it like this. Look, when I first got out of the military, I was broke as hell. I was bumming on my friend's couch, building my online business. Everyone thought I was crazy. We got the whole typical internet marketer story, all right? So let's not even tell that. What I do want to tell is when I was doing this, I would sit and look at all these big houses and all these cars, and I see all sorts of successful people out there and think, oh, so that's what I should aim for. That's what success looks like. And so I'd sit in my computer looking up the prices of a Porsche Cayman. You know those cars that trophy wives drive? That's what I wanted because I didn't even understand what a nice thing was at that time. I'd go and look up $45,000 rocks, and I think to myself, man, if I could just move to Uptown Dallas, that would be awesome. Just get an apartment there. So I achieved all those things. I got to multiple $100,000 a year. I was able to achieve all those things. I was able to get a decent enough car. I was able to move into Uptown Dallas, and so I had absolute freedom. I had a $2,000 per month apartment. I just had a desk. I could work on whatever I want, do whatever I want, whenever I wanted to. I was a slave to nobody. When I was in the Air Force, my main motivation, my main reason to get out of the military was the fact that the people I worked for were not very nice to me, and I didn't like working for them. Military is great. I think every young person should do it. There's just some unique situations there. And I was also a giant dick too. So if anybody who I used to work with over there is there, I'm completely aware of my behavior as well. That being said, my main motivation for starting a business was just to be free. And so I had achieved it. But then I think to myself, this can't be the achievement right here. But it didn't even occur to me. So I think, well, what are successful people doing? I go out and I see people spending $10,000 on a table. I'd walk around Uptown Dallas. I see people driving Lamborghinis. I think, oh, this is the direction I need to head in. These are the things I need to bring into my life. I'm not there yet. So what happened? Well, I think, oh man, I got a nice car now, but man, I really want an Aventador. And there's this house downtown. It's so cool. Oh man, that's like what success looks like. Oh, I want that $45,000 watch. And guess what? Your mind, when you think about something 24/7, has a way of working out how to get there. Now, don't go into the secret on me. That's bullshit. Sold by goof troops. I'll leave it at that. What you focus on and think about all day, though, and when you apply work to it, you're usually going to end up getting it. So what happened? I got the giant house. I got the $400,000 car. I had the $45,000 Rolex. In fact, I had so much money that I'm like, what do I spend it on now? I might as well fly private, and I got to fill this house with shit now too. And I quickly noticed that my life quality sharply declined. All that came into my life was complexity. Sure, these things were awesome when I first got them. It's like when you travel for the first time or you listen to a new song. It's new, and our brain reacts by patterns. Our brain is going to go, wow, this is new. I want to figure this out, and your brain gets excited. It's something that's new. But just like when you travel, I encourage you, go travel to a country that doesn't have all the same utilities that you have in your home. Just go travel anywhere. After about 2 weeks of being there, you're going to be like, this is kind of the same exact thing as my country. It's going to be the same thing when you buy a giant house. You're going to have a big old house. It's going to be super new and different. And you're going to be like, okay, so the difference is I have to walk longer to get from place to place, and it takes more to clean. You're going to get a super cool car. It's going to look really cool. And you're going to be like, oh, so basically this car is actually like wearing a tuxedo everywhere. It's a pain in the butt to drive. I don't even need to drive a car. I just want a Honda Civic that I can bump into things with. And so what you need to realize is these things right here, well, they appear to add something, but actually all they do is take away. And if you're not aware of this, you're going to end up in the exact same situation before. Let me explain it with a diagram. See, what you need to realize is that when you're broke, this is you, baby entrepreneur making absolutely no money. This sucks right here. There's a lot of complexities that come with being poor. And a lot of people in these videos have been like, well, Alex, if you don't have money, your life sucks too. Yeah, sucking at life and being average comes with a lot of negative outcomes. It does. I completely agree with you. I am a complete advocate of making oodles of money, building great businesses, and absolutely crushing it in all aspects of life. If you were trying and say that I'm saying otherwise, you're false. That's not what I'm saying. That being said, what I also want you to realize is that getting to the point where you've achieved the ultimate goal in life, which is where you are free and can work and master anything you so choose without other people telling you what to do, that's not actually that far away. That's about $100K a year. And the big thing about this is you need to realize there's one overlying theme to all of this: smart people. See, all society is and all power is other people convincing other people to do what they want them to do. And the thing about smart people is they're really good at doing this. If you look at the totem pole of society, it's just smart person upon smart person, and then you have the smartest person at the top, or the one who got a little lucky at the same time. But you see, when you're at this point of your life right here, you're completely controlled by smart people. Whether it's the person that owns where you work at, whether it's your boss, you are owned by other people, and you don't really have choices. But then you get to this point right here, and smart people can't really get at you. They can't really get at you. And so you become this thing that can generate power. And you can actually, at this point, you're probably going to want more power. So you're going to be like, crap, I want to go and get more and more things. And so what you're going to do at this point when you're free is you're slowly going to start actually bringing these smart people back into your life. How? Well, look, they can get broke people to do whatever they want just because the broke people need money. But in order to get successful people to do what they want, they have to lure them into something else. And the way they do this is with gold, gems, and coins and fancy things. It's incredible. How do you get a person that you can't control to give you all their power? Well, you convince them you have something that's worthwhile and valuable. And so you get on the internet, you get on TV, you look at Instagram, YouTube. You see people buying $400,000 cars, getting giant houses. You see people flying private and showing off their watches. These things have no value. I mean, seriously, they have no value. Go get one. Go get a $45,000 Rolex. See how long it keeps you happy. If something doesn't keep you happy for more than 5 days, it doesn't have much value in my book. But that's exactly what these people are doing. It's like you're choosing to be a chimpanzee in a corner with a bunch of other chimpanzees. And so you have this really smart chimpanzee in the corner who sees that you have this nuclear power core that's super valuable, which is your time, your energy, and your focus. Okay? And your ability to generate power, your ability to generate money. He says, how can I get that? And so what he does is he goes and finds some shiny rocks, and he goes and finds a banana and covers the banana in shiny rocks, and then waves it, and then walks around the room saying, oh man, this is, and then all the other chimpanzees go, oh, that's what success looks like. You can probably see this in the likes and people talking about it and people going and obsessing over cars and stuff on the internet. They go, that's what success looks like. And then the monkey goes, oh, no, you can't. I've worked really hard to get this. This is so incredible. And then what he does is he finds the monkey you, who has the power core, and goes, well, I can give you this, but you're going to have to exchange that glowy power thing you got right there. You just come work for me and send all that power to me, and I'll give you this thing. Boom. And so what happens is you might even start doing this at $100K a year, but you're going to want to make more. You're going to want to get to $1 million a year, $2 million a year, $5 million, $10 million a year. And so what slowly happens is smart people get back in your life and they take control of you again through the banks, through your finances, through credit cards, through basically any way they can. And so what happens is you get this big house, you get all these cars, you get all this stuff, and then, oh no, you gotta pay the lawn service, and oh, you gotta pay the pool guy, and then you gotta maintain the house, and you gotta pay your property taxes, and the bank needs some extra closing costs, and suddenly you get killed by 1,000 cuts. And what's going to happen is smart people start going and taking your power all over again. And instead of you ending up working for them because you have no choice, you end up voluntarily working for smart people again. Sure, you can make $2 million a year, but you've just become a $2 million asset for all the companies and all the things that you're paying for. That's all you are. You're a sucker. You're even worse than the guy who's broke, because you're a sucker at this point. You don't even have to do that. And so what happens is you start going and you dig this hole and you dig this hole, and this is what happens to NBA players and basketball players. And you start digging and digging and digging because you think that's what success is. And that's what stupid people think success is. If you go look at what people are following on Instagram and YouTube, that's what success looks like. It's having 15 Lamborghinis, 3 homes, 14 different things. But then what happens is you add all these things, and because they don't really have any value, well, first off, your life doesn't improve. But then what happens is you had 100% of your time and focus right here to work on whatever you want whenever you choose. But suddenly you start having to manage a staff to clean your house and do basic things for you. You start having to worry about where you park your car. You start having to worry about all sorts of weird taxes that the government starts trying to get out of you. You start having to worry about all sorts of things that really have nothing to do with your happiness. And suddenly you end up working for all the objects that you own. It will take... You have a house that's so big it will cost you $2,000 a month just to have it cleaned. And so suddenly through 1,000 cuts, you start getting drained, but then also your focus, your time and energy goes to managing these things, so you become less free. And then also, you can't do whatever the hell you want whenever you want because, well, you got to sustain all this stuff. You got to sustain all of it. And then what happens is you slowly end up losing this freedom you achieved, and you're right back here, just in a far funnier way. And that's what you need to realize. I was talking to one of my sales reps the other day. He wanted to go buy a McLaren. I said, why do you want to buy a McLaren? Pretty obvious. Because that's what success looks like. All my friends that I went to high school with, and everyone's going to think I'm super successful. But are you successful? Or are you just working for a bigger boss that you can't see? Who's even worse than this boss? Because this boss just wants you to show up on time. This boss wants your soul. And so, here's the moral of the story. You might have noticed I sold everything I own because I don't want a boss. I want to be able to do whatever the hell I want. And my life is so easy to maintain right now. My focus on my company and the things I enjoy just right there. Because I just have a bed over there, and I have this desk, and I go to bed thinking about this. I wake up thinking about this. There is absolutely nothing in my life to take up any of my focus. I am completely distraction free. And I don't have to work on anything I don't want to work on because I have nothing to sustain. I can live like this for the next 100 years. I can do whatever the hell I want. I could make a webcam channel where I just dance around with my shirt off for the next 100 years, and I'd be just fine. Now, that's not what I want to do, but that's what success is. Being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. And more so, you have to realize, even if you become super rich and wealthy, and having these things isn't of major consequence. For example, having my house and my car and everything wasn't of major consequence to my finances. It was of very major consequence to my focus and where my time would go and how I worked. Major consequence. That's the thing I regret the absolute most. The absolute most. And so I encourage you to do this. I'm not saying don't go buy a supercar if you love a supercar. I'm not saying don't buy nice things for your family. I'm saying just realize the costs they're going to come at, because they do have cost. Well more than financial cost. And so what you need to do when you hit this point right here, when you have freedom, you need to think, what do you want to spend your time doing? Because that's where happiness comes from. Where do you want to focus on in life? What things do you want to gain in life? Because trust me, getting a $50 million home is not going to do it. Think about what you would buy if you didn't care what other people thought. Think about what you would buy if there was no other person on earth. Think about what you would do if you already were the most popular, coolest person on earth and everybody loved you and you'd already achieved all the financial wealth. What would you do? What would you do? And that's going to tell you where you should probably put your money in. So for example, with me, what I want is I want to build a giant company that has incredible clients, has an incredible team, and people look at it and go, that is really cool. I live in a city right now where all the tech companies are, and I can look at the giant buildings with their names on it. And I can see all the cool teams and how awesome their products are. That's what I want to do at Hyros. That's what really gets me excited. That's what gets me going. I also really enjoy in my free time making videos like this for you guys, because I think if someone made these videos for me, man, it would have really impacted my life. So that's what I'm doing right here. But that's what I think about. That's what I dream about. Okay, now that I've gone past oh crap, how can I keep up with the Joneses? How can I be look more successful than this guy on Instagram? That's what I think about. And so all my money's in my business. All my money's in my business. That's where it is. I don't need it. I literally don't need it. And to really put that in perspective, you need to understand all my power, if this is my nuclear chimpanzee core, is at where I care about most. Okay, all my energy, all my time, all my resources go into what I care about most. And it's not being siphoned out. It's not being directed anywhere else. Money is a form of power, just like your energy and focus. And the thing is, when you get lured in by smart people, when you start going and getting lots of things, that energy and focus gets sucked away, and your power also gets sucked away. And that robs your business. That robs the things you care about most of all your power, your energy, focus, and money. So keep all your power, focus, and energy in the things that matter most to you. I don't have any of these other things that I need to fund. And so you need to think about that for yourself. You need to think about when you're getting into it, where should you put your money? If your sole goal is just to travel the world, have fun, you should probably be putting your money in investments. You should probably look at, for example, like Graham Stephan, for example. Very smart. That's what success looks like. Warren Buffett, that's what success looks like. People that are completely free and do whatever they want every single day. And so if you want to achieve that as well, and you're not looking to build $1 billion company, you don't want to build that kind of stuff, you should be putting stuff into investments that allow you to do whatever the hell you want on an even crazier scale. The most important thing you should think when you're buying things is just realize, first off, every expensive thing comes with major time constraints. They all come with major time constraints. And you should also be thinking, are you buying things for other people, or are you buying them for yourself? I bought things for other people so that other people would think, man, Alex is crushing it. Which I do. Okay, let's not forget the point. Just because I have less things, let's not forget the point that I'm fucking awesome at what I do. But that also being said, I'm joking, sort of. I pointed this out many times on your channel. See, you shouldn't get your idea of who you are from what you think other people think that you are. So when you see a person buying bottles at the club, that person thinks that everyone else thinks that they are successful. And so now they think that they are successful. When the truth is, they're just a guy spending $10,000 for a bottle of alcohol. What you think other people think that you are is not actually what you are. What you are is what you are. And so you should really just take other people out of the equation and think, who am I? And what do I want to do? Because if you do that, that's how you can go and spend money in a way that actually adds to your life instead of takes away. If you do the last thing I just talked about, basing your purchases off of what you want other people to think that you are, you're not buying based around what you are. And so you're going to become a slave, because smart people see that. They see that, they encourage it, they put the message out in the world, and you're just going to end up being that chimpanzee who's exchanging your nuclear power core for a shiny, gold-plated banana. And the moral of the story is, don't do that shit. Because all that's going to happen, you're going to have to get security for that banana. You're going to have to get a professional cleaning crew for that banana to make sure that gold stays good. You're going to have to hide that banana from other people. That banana is going to attract people into your life that aren't interested in you. They're just interested in the banana. And you're going to end up a slave to that banana. While the smart person, the smart chimpanzee, sits in the corner and you generate all the actual power for them. You don't want to be that chimpanzee. You want to be that chimpanzee in the corner with everybody else generating power for you. And you can't do that if you don't understand this about material objects and where to spend your money. So, hopefully this helps a little bit.